tuning into another segment of the Sit Down with Malik Wright presented by First Star Logistics. On this segment, I want to discuss the Miami Dolphins. I need to discuss the Miami
Hmm.
Dolphins because the Miami Dolphins, in my eyes, are exactly what they were last year, Daniel. With all due respect, they're fraudulent. They're not serious contenders. The first real team they faced this season in the AFC was the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills went up and down the field on them. Buffalo Bills made a mockery of the Miami Dolphins because the Miami Dolphins don't have a serious defense. Now, I get it. The Dolphins are without Jalen Ramsey. The Dolphins do have injuries to Xavier Howard, so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that defense that they're putting out on the football field isn't serious. Now, fast forward to the other night. They take on the Philadelphia Eagles, another serious contender. And the Philadelphia Eagles ran roughshod on them. I mean, the brotherly shove over and over again, running the ball down the field, ball control, really just taking the air out of the football and making this Dolphins defense completely wilt away. That's what happened. So then I'm supposed to believe that the Miami Dolphins, I understand they have a flashy offense. I understand Tyreek Hill will always get his. I understand Tyreek Hill is so dynamic, but I'm supposed to believe that this Miami Dolphins team can hang with teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Bengals when they get their stuff together. I'm not buying it. Daniel, what say you?
So the Dolphins, I will say they are fraudulent in the sense that right now they're not playing football that's conducive to playoff success. And what I mean by that is you look at every single team that has won in the playoffs. You look at the 49ers, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. For as much crap we want to give their defense still shows up in the playoffs at times. They had Chris Jones a lot of times, even last year, right? Their defense shows up when their number is called. The Miami Dolphins don't have that right now. They had plays, David Long made a nice play. Vic Fangio's made somewhat of an impact there, but they're too injured right now, and they don't win in the trenches. And at the end of the day, right now, that's my biggest concern is their play style conducive to playoff success? I had the same question about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in previous years, right? Is his play style and their offense conducive to playoff success? It showed that it wasn't. The Dolphins right now have shown that when it comes time to face these contenders like the Bills, like the Bengals, like the Chiefs, like the Niners, a team with a good offensive line and a good defensive line is going to dominate Mike McDaniel's team. So you've got to ask yourself, if you're a Dolphins fan, if you're looking at the Dolphins, how can they contend? You have to win in the trenches. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I still think that their high-flying offense can win football games. Once again, though, Tua threw a goal line interception. What the hell are you doing? That's going to be the issue with the Dolphins. And if I were to make a prediction 5 years down the road, when we're talking about this stretch of the Miami Dolphins, I think the narrative is going to be the high-flying offense, but they just couldn't get it done in the playoffs because they face these teams with great offensive lines, with great defensive lines. Hell, let's say they make the Super Bowl, right? Let's say they beat the Bengals. Let's say they beat the Chiefs. I have no confidence whatsoever that they can beat either the 49ers or the Eagles just because of their line play. And that's my concern with the Dolphins. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to look at your defensive line and say, hey, we need to fix that. Your offensive line, we need to fix that now. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that, I think people sometimes think, what, we just like to be hard on these teams. It's not that. It's you really just, your expectations are so much higher for a team like the Dolphins because you're looking at them like they got the Jalen Waddle, they got the Tyreek Hill, they had this powerhouse of an offense, and you just expect them to be able to be in there with teams all the time until they run into a defense that can slow them down. Not stop them, because I don't think you can truly stop this Miami Dolphins offense. Credit to Mike McDaniel and the offense that he built there. And credit to Tua, obviously. But I just think that when you run into a defense that is able to slow them down, that can score just as much points as you can, especially with their alien defense, they're going to run into some trouble, man. They're going to run into some trouble here, man. And I think, my dad's a Dolphins fan. He's a huge Dolphins fan. And, he was really excited for this season going into this year, and I think he's still excited for a lot of reasons because they still have everything in front of them. But I think that was a little bit of a reality check, right? First two real teams that they faced, they got gut checked. It brings you back to reality.
Yep.
It makes you look at yourself and say, you know what? Maybe we aren't this juggernaut that we thought we were. And I get it. It's only 2 games they lost, but they were massive games in terms of confidence, morale building. They were massive games. They were games that you look at the Dolphins and you say, you know what? you need to win these games. Even if you don't win these games, you need to look respectable in it. It looked like the Eagles were literally on autopilot
Yep.
the entire night, and then when they kicked into high gear, the Dolphins looked like their head was spinning and they didn't know what to do. And I wonder, and I want to ask you this because
Yeah.
I know you're a Tua truther.
Mm.
Do you think that Tua's lack of mobility is an issue for this Miami Dolphins? Because you think about some of the most elite teams in the league, they
Yeah.
have a quarterback that can move. Look, even the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is getting his leg more involved. That's what's making the Chiefs offense really, really tick this year when it needs to. Look at Josh Allen and the Bills. I don't even know if that's a good comparison, but he gets his legs involved. You look at Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, he sometimes gets his legs involved. Lamar Jackson, he gets his legs involved. You look at all these teams right now, and you've got to wonder, man, is Tua's style of quarterback, does that hold back the Dolphins in some way?
I think it does to a standpoint that it definitely does. You look at other quarterbacks and you compare, yes, him not moving outside of the pocket, yes, it screws up a lot more because you can say, all right, if that was Burrow, he would have been able to escape that. But at the end of the day, that's not. I look at it, how can they win a Super Bowl, right? I still think that their team, I think that their offense has potential to, but I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be up to that defense. Vic Fangio, if he can get that unit to be a top 5 unit, if he can get that defensive line to wreak havoc on opposing teams, then I think that we can see this Dolphins team really have success. I think that their offense can. I think this high-flying offense, you face them up against anybody in the playoffs. I still think they can score points, but it doesn't work if the opposing team is taking up, 75% of the clock because they're running the hell out of the ball and they're tush pushing right in front of your defensive line. They can't stop it. So if I'm the Dolphins, I'm looking at my defense right now and say, hey, that is our issue because you can count on defense in the playoffs. You can't always count on the offense. If I'm the Dolphins, I think they can have success. It starts with that defense. So get healthy, get Ramsey, get Xavier Howard back, and continue to build that defensive line because if they would have forced Jalen Hurts into more turnovers, they could have won that game. It's a turnover-driven league. You got to force turnovers, and I think Vic Fangio, it's not up to Mike McDaniel. I think he's got the offense rolling. I truly think it's up to Vic Fangio to fix that defense. So,
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. Let us know down in the comment section what you think. Do you guys think the Dolphins are true contenders for the Super Bowl this year? Very curious to hear what you guys think. Let us know. If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live from the First Star Logistics Studio.